In this video, we're going to be talking about the one trait that women find highly attractive, and I'm going to reveal that trait. What is that trait? I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique you want, how to get the girls you want, and how to go from the victim mindset to the bulldog mindset. If that sounds like something you are all about, click that subscribe button, join us on the quest, guys, and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Just do it, just right there. I kind of clickbaity-ish it. I know. Women find this one trait highly attractive. What is the one trait? I'm just going to give it to you. Persistence. Whoa, wait a minute, guy. Wait a minute. Don't talk about persistence. That's fucking creepy. Persistence is creepy. Persistence doesn't have to be creepy. I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to tell you what I mean by this and why this is such a highly attractive trait and why you need to develop this trait. To be persistent means to not give up. And really what I would say in the context of social situations is it means to not take anything personal and not to ever assume that you're rejected and defeated. Persistence is not like tracking down some girl and like after she like tells you to get away, like following to her house and calling her and texting her 50 times. That's not persistence, okay? That's extremely creepy, but it's not persistence because you're missing a key element, which is that you have accepted the rejection level, right? You have basically made something into a big deal. When I'm talking about persistence in social situations, it's all about having the gumption to just be unfazed, right? We could call this persistence and being emotionally resilient or non-reactive. And I see this a lot of times when I'm coaching guys, is that they're not very persistent, okay? They're not very durable. So what will happen is, let's say, a guy will go up and he will go in for the kiss on the girl, right? And he will do it in a way that's not very confident, which, okay, that's fine. He's leaning in and she like turns and gives him the cheek or something like that. And then he's just like thrown back by that. He's like, oh shit. And maybe he apologizes. He's like, oh, sorry. Okay. Whatever, you know what I mean? And then he's done. Then he's like, now he's sitting by himself. Now he's afraid, right? And that's not persistent. Whereas a guy that's persistent will go in and maybe he'll get the cheek and he'll like laugh a little bit. Like, okay, all right. And then like a couple minutes later, he'll go and try again. And he'll probably succeed that time. Most guys, their egos are bruised very, very easily, right? The persistent guy, his ego isn't bruised, okay? And even if he goes in the second time and she still gives him a cheek, he's still laughing. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Who cares? He's not taking it personally, okay? He's persistent. He's going to keep on trying as long as she's going to keep on letting him try. It's the difference between being creepy and not creepy, right? Being creepy is when you are basically being completely rejected and you're accepting that rejection as a reflection on your ego. Okay, it's being reactive. The creepy guy that is, quote, persistent is the guy that is continually bothering. It appears to be like not accepting, not going with the current timeline. A good way to think about this is improv, right? Have you ever seen improv and then you've heard that you should say yes and so what the way that works is, like, let's say that you're doing improv and you're doing a scene in improv and this person says, well, there was this guy walking down the street and he sold me a hot dog and I didn't have any money. And then you're like, yes. And then what happened was a superhero came up and gave you $5 and now you did have money, right? So like you're trying to change the narrative of the story to him actually having money, but you're not rejecting it. Instead of saying, like, you could say, oh yeah, no, that's not how it went. That's not how it happened. No, you had money, right? It's like, yes, this happened and this, so you're going with it, right? Whereas when you're clashing because you're fighting against it, again, when I use that example with the whole kissing and the turning of the cheek, like, to fight that, like, is the wrong way. Another good example was one of the guys that I had coached. He basically went up to a group of girls and he started talking to them, and basically, like, when he did, they turned and kind of ignored him and rejected him, and they kind of trailed off, and he was like, oh fuck that, and he just kind of walked off, like did his little walk, like, you know, like, I hope no one saw me, and I feel like a shithead. Okay, whereas one of the proper ways to handle that, okay, would be just go up and do your thing, and girls are, you know, whatever, get out of her face, right, whatever, ignoring, and then, you know what, and then you kind of like spin off, and then you kind of make another round. You come around again, and you're like, wait a minute, hey, hold on a second here, wait a minute, why do you hate me so much, right? To ask some kind of question like that, or say, oh, you know, this girl over here, she seems to like me, why do you two hate me? Oh, you can laugh, okay. You have to be careful with this, because it could come across as creepy if you're doing it in the wrong way, but if you've just taken that rebuff and you're just like spinning it into something positive, like, it doesn't matter, who cares, we're all just having fun, it's not a big deal, like, and you just keep on going. Think about the persistent people that you've ever encountered, and the two kinds of persistence, right? Again, this is a very, very hard concept to explain, so I'm trying here, but I know a lot of you are going to be like, I don't quite know, that's not really persistence. Look at examples where you've had people, like, let's say a persistent salesperson. This is usually a good example, right? Have you ever had someone who's a very persistent salesman, and then you eventually bought something from them? Why? Because when you rejected them, right, when you said, no, I'm not interested, they just didn't go away. Like, it didn't affect them at all. They didn't treat you any differently. They treated you just as well as before, and they just spun off into something else and started talking about something, and they just kept on going, and they would not be rejected. They were unrejectable, and then you got to the point where you're like, you know what? They're so fucking charming, I'm gonna fucking buy this fucking thing that I don't need. This was a trait that you could actually foster within yourself to become persistent in that manner. And what I realized was the key differentiator between the two types of people: the salesperson that you hate, that is so fucking annoying, and the one that it's like, just like, man, because you're so damn persistent, I'm just gonna fucking buy this thing. Like, I don't even need this, but I just like you so much, I'm gonna do it, right? That's the attractive quality. That's a charismatic one. And what I noticed was the difference between it was how the person handled the answer. If the person is reactive and takes your no as a slap, as an ego hit, okay, and then tries to come back from it and tries to recover it so they can recover their ego, it looks pathetic, it looks creepy, it's annoying, it doesn't feel good to you. But if the person takes your rejection as sort of like something they can dance around, they can sidestep it. Again, think about the scenarios I said with the getting the cheek, but then, I don't care, it's fine, and then going for it again, or going after into, going up to some girls and they're, rejecting you. They don't want to talk to you, but then you loop around and you're still, because it doesn't matter, because you're just gliding through life. You're just kind of dancing around these things, and you're not able to be hit like you're Jello, right? It's like you can't be hit because you're too damn slippery. Because everyone tries to shoot something at you, it just bounces off you. It doesn't actually hit you. Whereas the person who's very fragile and, they're suddenly making it about themselves, right? You have to always make it about the other person, and that it doesn't matter. Like, this thing isn't really happening. A lot of this is to some degree frame control, but persistence is key. If you're going to be successful, with women in general, you're going to have to be persistent. You're going to have to be the kind of person that doesn't feel like they take things personally, doesn't feel their ego involved in the situation, is able to just bounce back, is able to not be reactive, is able to just be chill, and just whatever happens, happens. It doesn't matter. It's all cool. It's always all cool. There's nothing that is not cool. Everything is fucking cool. If you keep that attitude, then it will allow you to be more persistent, because it doesn't matter, right? Why do you care if sometimes maybe you ask a question 6 times, and on the 6th time you get the yes, but it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter as long as you don't care, right? As soon as you care, then it matters, and it matters to both parties. And that's where it becomes creepy. That's where things become weird. And but most people don't even have any amount of persistence at all. They're just like, it's just like, no. And they're like, okay, right? But don't, if you learn anything from sales is you gotta like take that no and play with it a little bit, kind of massage it a little bit, like, okay, I see what you're saying here. All right. Hold on. It's nothing that you have to fight against. All right, guys, I hope this is helpful to you. I know this is kind of confusing. It's my first time kind of putting together my thoughts on this. You've got to have the gumption. You've got to have the non-ego investment in order to be able to keep on facing rejections and not see them as a rejection. That's kind of what the bottom line comes down to. All right, guys, if you haven't already taken the Bulldog quiz, go take that quiz right now. I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.